The Vigilants of Stendarr might seem quite intimidating. When the player encounters them patrolling Skyrim, they often shout about how they're on their way to smash in the faces of some Daedra worshippers. But for all their machismo, the Vigilants of Stendarr are pretty stupid. The main reason for their stupidity is because of the simplistic, black and white view the Vigilants have of the world. Whilst they might be willing to cure anyone who comes to them with deadly diseases, even if they're Daedric in origin, they automatically assume that all Daedra worshippers, vampires, and werewolves are bad people. Serana, the vampiric daughter of the evil Lord Harkon from the Dawnguard DLC, is living proof that not all vampires are bad. Serana is kind, smart, and compassionate. She doesn't go round torturing mortal humans like some other vampires do before they feed on them, or anything like that. But no doubt the Vigilants would see Serana simply as an evil vampire who deserves nothing but a mace to the face. Also, in terms of Daedra worshippers, would the Vigilants of Stendarr include the Dunmer as Daedra worshippers? The Dark Elves worship the Daedric Prince Azura, the goddess of dusk and dawn, Boethia, the Daedric Prince of plots, and Mephala, the Daedric Prince of lies, murder, sex, and secrets. And yet the Dark Elves aren't bad people, where the Vigilants of Stendarr seem to think that all Daedra worshippers are like the cult of the Mythic Dawn, who worshipped Mehrunes Dagon and brought about the Oblivion Crisis. The Dunmer worship the relatively mild Daedric princes, and in a similar way that any other civilization worships their own gods. It's not as if Morrowind is a land where people who worship Mephala go around plotting to kill everyone. Rather, they come into their pantheon because of the presence of the Morag Tong. The Morag Tong are a legal guild of assassins. Whilst you might think that this seems barbaric, in reality it isn't. Rather than wars being fought between politicians who dislike each other or who are vying for power, instead, a member of one house will simply order the execution of their opponent. On a basic level, the Dunmeri society is proof that Daedra worship doesn't have to be cultist worship, revolving around bringing an end to the world. It can in fact be a practice synonymous with a successful civilization. Another point about the Vigilants of Stendarr is that they aren't really accountable to anyone apart from their own leaders. As an independent military organisation, if their members do something wrong, then there's no way they can actually really be punished other than internally within the organisation. I imagine that many people who report to the Order that they know someone who might be a Daedra worshipper are wrong, but what's to stop the Vigilants just killing that person anyway? If a few people decide to accuse someone of Daedra worship with no evidence, would the Vigilants kill that person or not? I imagine that as worshippers to the god of mercy and justice, Stendarr, most Vigilants wouldn't kill someone without evidence that they're evil. I also imagine that there must be a few questionable individuals in the Order. What often happens with groups such as the Vigilants of Stendarr is that people who enjoy violence join up, not because they're devout, but because they want to kill some people. So are they really going to be bothered about fact-checking whether someone is a Daedra worshipper or not? But the Vigilants of Stendarr seem to be pretty stupid as an organisation because they're so unaccountable. Essentially, they're a violent group of religious fanatics who demonise every Daedra worshipper, every vampire, and every werewolf. But maybe the biggest, stupidest thing about the Order is explained by Isran, the leader of the Dawnguard. He comments that the Vigilants of Stendarr knew that Fort Dawnguard existed, and yet rather than move to occupy the abandoned fort, they instead built a small little thatched hall in the middle of nowhere. No wonder the vampires were able to so easily defeat the Vigilants if their base was nothing more than a thatched barn. Apparently they didn't move into Dawnguard because they didn't think it was worthwhile because the castle was ruined, but if they had just sent one scout, then they would have realised that actually it was in pretty good condition. Also, it's not as if it would cost a fortune to repair. If Isran and a handful of random people are able to reconstruct the fort to its former glory, then no doubt an Order as pervasive and powerful as the Vigilants of Stendarr would have been able to easily afford the renovation. And to top it all off, one of the last surviving Vigilants, Tolan, says that his Order were wrong to underestimate the vampire menace. But as an Order that's dedicated to hunting down vampires and their ilk, Surely they would be experts in that field. Why on earth wouldn't they consider vampires dangerous? It just doesn't seem to make sense, so no wonder there is Ron left to found the Dawnguard if the Vigilants of Stendarr underestimate the things that they hunt so much. And Tolan himself is an idiot. He decides to head into Dim Hollow Crypt by himself. He asks the Dragonborn to meet him there, but rather than meeting outside, he heads inside and decides to attack a dozen vampires instead. Either he was suicidal, arrogant, or just plain stupid. To sum up the Vigilants of Stendarr, from seeing the world in a black and white way to refusing to move into a massive, defensible fortress, it's clear to see that there isn't an IQ test when it comes to applying to become a Vigilant of Stendarr. Thank you for watching this video. If you want to see more videos where I brutally analyse NPCs and organisations, then check out the playlist I made for my Idiot series on my channel. I also make other lore videos as well, so feel free to subscribe if you want to see more Elder Scrolls lore videos generally. I'd also like to take a moment to thank my latest patrons, Halpy123, Rosalind Klein, Darius Tan, and Sammy Valenti. Thank you for supporting my YouTube channel. Anyway, thanks again, and I'll see you in the next one.